Hello and welcome, Katya here. Great to have you back. Now, there's a couple of things that I'd like to mention that I spoke about in the previous video. A lot of you are probably unaware, I live in Australia on the Gold Coast, and Australia is about to introduce some quite, let's say, intense censorship laws in December across all social media platforms. So there's certain things that are occurring now regarding algorithms and certain information that people may be speaking about, in particular the nature of cancer and what I have prepared to share. I will actually pull back from that because I don't want to have this video lost in the algorithms, which seems to be occurring for other people as well, depending on what they're speaking about. So if anyone wants some more information on the properties of ivermectin and Fenben, remember these are quite strong pharmaceuticals and certainly been proven. I mean, they're used by vets to have effective parasitic qualities, but they also possess other qualities that are instrumental in, let's say, interrupting the sequencing of signals that goes to the cells. So that's what I'll say. Look, all of us have been exposed to infections that I spoke about, staph, strep, Epstein-Barr, some people herpes, candida infections. So perhaps you may not have all of them, but you may have one or two. And generally strep and staph are quite common that people have been exposed to sometime in their life. So if you want some information about that, and particularly ivermectin and Fenben, I didn't use that. I didn't use Fenben. I did use ivermectin. But if you do want some more information, please feel welcome to put something in the comments. Just put method and I'll be able to, or you can contact me via my email and I'll be able to share more information with you there so that you do receive it and it's not filtered out with the algorithms. Okay, so moving on. What I want to talk today about is something that's really overlooked in healing and our overall health and well-being, and that is pleasure. Now, we're in a stage of life, or times of life, I should say, where we're being bombarded with so much information on the outside of us that is anything but pleasurable. In fact, it's just full of pain, and it will often trigger our own past experiences of pain. And so we can stay trapped in this state of being for the day. And we say to ourselves, why has life become painful? There's no joy in my life anymore. There's no pleasure. And this is because, well, two things. We've been, I guess, many of us told that too much pleasure is not a good thing. It's hedonistic, narcissistic, self-interest, and it's not good for us. And of course, that's not the truth. The fact is, we've come in here into these bodies equipped with 5 senses, which, what do? They bring us pleasure. They can also bring us pain, but you've probably heard that saying, it's a fine line between pleasure and pain. It certainly is. And we can choose to go into the pleasure side of these senses. And it takes a bit of training, but I've worked with so many people in the past, not only at retreats, but people who've worked with me privately, in gaining back the pleasure signals, immersing themselves in pleasure that they've put aside They've kind of, they haven't brought it into their lives on a daily basis. And obviously that's what they will receive, a lack of pleasure. So the first thing I get people to do is just become aware of the sensations, because pleasure is all about sensation and bringing your awareness to sensations in your body. If you just lie quietly somewhere, close your eyes, bring your attention to your body and feel different things. Notice what's going on. You might be aware of the softness of a fabric that you have on. You could be aware of what you're lying on. Is it hard? Is it soft? Is it plush? Do you have velvet around you or sheepskin? Or, touch will often elicit very deep feelings of pleasure within us, of course. And of course, all these senses can go to the other side, but we are about putting more emphasis on the pleasure and bringing that in as a habit and something that we prioritize every day to put ourselves into. And this certainly helped me in overcoming the bladder cancer that I was diagnosed with. It was an integral part of what I was doing. So I immersed myself in pleasure via music, the ears, vision, sight, smell, beautiful flowers, beautiful oils, fragrances, touch, taste, really giving myself the most pleasurable tastes. So this is paramount because we have been gifted with these senses. We're here to enjoy and have the pleasure that we receive from our senses as our way of operating in this world. Filling our bodies with well-being and harmony and joy and abundance. Now, many people make things happen. Put this way, they want to feel that they can only make something happen by putting that effort in to having this come into their reality. But in actuality, we have to welcome these things in, because welcoming is a feminine receptive principle. And even if you're a man, it's part of who we are. We have the balance of masculine and feminine. The feminine side is the welcoming, the receiving of these sensations. So that's important. We welcome these things in to our bodies. Now, a lot of us have had stresses in our lives, talked about that before over the last few years, and we bring back the memories and sensations into our body of these events, the painful events. We feel it in our body. We feel the tightness. We feel the pain literally in our body. So it is training ourselves to go to the other side, which is the pleasure side, okay? And circulating these great feelings that we have from watching a sunrise, watching a sunset. That's why it's so important to go out in nature, because there's a plethora of sensation out there, right? That we can take in. The vision, of, like I said, sunsets, beauty of flowers, nature, landscapes, birds, animals, these delight our senses. We've heard that phrase, what delights your senses. Tastes, the fabulous drinks, tastes of food. I mean, we've all got great memories of the most magnificent meals that stand out for us, that were just, so pleasurable we don't want it to stop, right? Well, they don't have to stop. We can just keep recreating those again over and over. And of course, events, celebratory events, it could be weddings, births. We've felt the joy just pulsate through our bodies as we've witnessed these things and been part of them. Birthdays, other events that mark the seasons or the calendar year. So whatever it is, bring more of that into your life. Make your healing sanctuary, if you have a condition that you're wanting to transform in your body, by bringing all these smells, tastes, touch, pleasurable things, music, into your environment, and making sure you immerse yourself in all of these every day, because that's where the joy is. Okay. And like I said, inviting these things in, it's a feminine, welcoming energy. It's not something that we chase or go out of our way to seek. We welcome it in, to receive it into our bodies. And by doing that, we're more open, receptive, and our senses actually become, more heightened. Our taste gets stronger, our vision improves, our hearing even improves. Often the senses, people say aging makes these senses more duller and deteriorate. Well, it's usually because we're blocking them in some way. When we start to open up to the joy in life as opposed to the pain, by choosing not to look at things that are painful, which is what social media is often filled with, not all the time, of course there's plenty of pleasurable stuff out there, but we choose what we want to be shown to us, whether it be, cottage gardens or how to build a chicken coop or whatever, these things that bring us, pleasure and joy. So these have to be part of the healing process, and these things will initiate incredible healing in your body, because your cells are bathing and immersing themselves in these sensations. So when we do engage in an activity, or just by being aware of our senses and what's around us in the present moment, sound of a bird, the ability to breathe deeply, let it circulate through your body. Even look, relationships, intimacy, all of those things, touch, hugging, kissing, all of these things, we've all experienced these things in our lives. Bring those memories and the pleasure that contains back into your body again. I do it all the time. I'll sit here and think of a most incredible feeling that was attached to a moment I experienced, and I let it circulate through my body. And I feel so calm, I feel joyous, and that's what happens. So we have control over this. We have control whether we choose the fine line of pain and pleasure, because it is a fine line between pleasure and pain. So we need to go over into the pleasure side more often. And automatically you'll have more joy in your life. It will just happen. How can it not, when you're just flooding your body with so much pleasure all the time? And, again, if you do get feelings of guilt and shame come up, know that it's a program. It's not your natural state as a human. We have been gifted with these fabulous senses to experience life in its utmost glorious frequencies of all these sensations. And a lot of us are just not doing it. We're focusing on the stressful things that bring pain, and we won't be able to bring long-lasting healing and well-being into our bodies if we choose to go the other way, and just recycle pain. So this is something that you start off and you bring it into your life, and it becomes a practice. You do it every day until it becomes something that you just want to bring into your body. It'll do it automatically, right? And it's just incredible in the healing process. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. So I will see you all again. Have a fabulous day, and we'll speak soon. Lots of love. Bye for now.